Hello there, you're watching Vnews Bulletin. I'm Vungo presenting you today's top stories as usual.
President Nguyễn Xuân Phúc attends APEC Business Advisory Council's meeting. National flag carrier promotes Vietnam's tourism in Thailand. And later on, veterans build private war museum.
President Nguyễn Xuân Phúc attended the third meeting of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Business Advisory Council in Quảng Ninh Province on July 27th.
At the meeting, 150 representatives from the 17 APEC economies raised proposals to be sent to APEC leaders during the APEC Economic Leaders Week slated for November in Bangkok. President Nguyễn Xuân Phúc told the meeting Vietnam always welcomes businesses from APEC economies for mutual benefits and development. He said uncertainties due to epidemics, geopolitical competitions, supply chain disruptions, and financial chaos have tested the mettle and cohesion of the APEC economies. Phúc therefore called on APEC Business Advisory Council to raise many new initiatives and solutions to boost trade and investment in APEC with the central pledge by the World Trade Organization, support enterprises to maintain operations on digital platforms, using green technologies, and foster cooperation in clean, renewable energy and greenhouse gas emission reduction in the region. Co-organized by the Vietnam Chamber of Commerce and Industry and APEC Business Advisory Council Vietnam in Hạ Long City, the meeting will last until July 29th.
Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính and the government's delegation had a working session with leaders of Ho Chi Minh City on socio-economic development in the city in the first 7 months of this year. He also visited some key traffic projects in the locality.
During the working session, leaders of the city gave a number of proposals to the government, including measures to speed up a number of infrastructure projects. Prime Minister Chính hailed the city's efforts and achievements so far this year, while pointing out a number of shortcomings of the city, including the slow disbursement of public investment capital and problems arising during the implementation of some projects. He stressed the need for the city to mobilize social resources for the development of infrastructure system, while reviewing urban planning, strengthening human resources development, speeding up administrative reform, promoting digital transformation, and improving locals' living conditions. Earlier, Prime Minister Chính and the government working groups inspected the Metro Line No. 1 project in the city, which is expected to complete in the fourth quarter of 2023. He also visited the location chosen for the implementation of the An Phu intersection in Thủ Đức City, one of the gateway projects aiming to reduce congestion for the Ho Chi Minh City Long Thành Dầu Giây Expressway and the road to Cát Lái Port.
National Assembly Chairman Vương Đình Huệ is on a working visit to the central province of Quảng Nam. We joined the legislative leader to see how his trip is processing.
Chairman Huệ affirmed that developing the private sector is a correct policy during his visit to Shanghai Group, known as TACO, as part of a working trip to the central province of Quảng Nam on July 27th. Describing TACO as a success story of Vietnamese enterprises, where it said the success testifies to the correctness of the party and state's policy to develop the private sector. The group's total revenue topped $2.6 billion in 2021, including nearly $240 million from exports. The chairman suggested TACO intensify research and development and participate deeper in regional and world value chains.
On the morning of July 27th, as part of his official visit to Laos, President of the Vietnam Fatherland Front Central Committee Do Văn Chiến was received by the Laos Party, state, government and legislative leaders.
President of the Vietnam Fatherland Front Central Committee, Do Văn Chiến, who is also Secretary of the Party Central Committee, met Laos Party General Secretary and State President Thăm Lo Caesar Lid. He paid courtesy visits to Prime Minister thăm and President of the National Assembly, Vihan. The Lao leaders appreciated the outcomes of the talks between leaders of the Vietnam Fatherland Front and the Lao Front for National Construction. They shared their hopes that, on the basis of a freshly signed cooperation agreement for 2022 to 2027, the two fronts will intensify exchanges and experience sharing, the better the coordination. Chin expressed his hope that the leaders will maintain their support to have the two fronts effectively implement the new agreement and create favorable conditions for them to successfully hold an international conference on building a Vietnam-Laos border of peace, friendships and cooperation for mutual development in October 2022 in Laos.
The Republic of Korea on July 26 received 153 Vietnamese laborers under the employment permit system.
Among these laborers, 110 will work in the manufacturing industry, while the others in the fisheries sector. They are among 8,000 employees expected to go to the Republic of Korea to work this year. The workers were taken to training centers in Jeju and Incheon cities for COVID-19 testing and improvement of knowledge about law, control, occupational safety, as well as instructions for signing labor contracts and medical examinations. According to information from the Employment Permit System Office in the Republic of Korea, relevant agencies of the two countries are conducting procedures related to training, depositing, and visitations for more than 6,000 Vietnamese workers so that they can enter the East Asian country in the remaining months of 2022.
Vietnam raked in over $29 billion from phone and component exports during the first half of the year, representing a rise of 16.4% year-on-year.
According to the General Department of Vietnam Customs, the major importers of these products include China, the US, the EU, and the Republic of Korea. Export turnover of the products to the US, China, and the Republic of Korea also to reach $6.6 billion, $6.45 billion, and $2.78 billion respectively. Meanwhile, the export value fell by 7.7% to $3.2 billion in the EU market. In terms of computers, electronic products and components, Vietnam also enjoyed an increase of exports to the US, China, the EU, and Hong Kong, China in the period.
Vietnam Airlines Representative Office in Thailand hosted a conference on tourism and business promotion themed Rediscover Vietnam in Bangkok on July 26, aiming to speed up post-COVID-19 tourism recovery.
Vietnamese ambassador to Thailand, Phan Chi Theng, said the embassy always supports and creates favorable conditions for tourists from Thailand to visit Vietnam, as well as connect Thai business with Vietnamese partners in the field of tourism and logistics supply chain. Vietnam Airlines now operates 3 regular direct flights connecting Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City with Bangkok. As scheduled, the number of flights will increase to 4 flights per day from October this year, and will rise to 6 flights per day in the second quarter of 2023.
Vietnam Airlines pledges to ensure stable flight schedules and absolute safety, and provide passengers with high-quality services, contributing to promoting cultural, economic, political, and social exchange between Vietnam and Thailand.
Since Vietnam and Thailand removed most of the travel restrictions, the number of air passengers has increased rapidly. Thailand is also one of the priority markets among 15 international destinations where Vietnam Airlines has resumed its regular flights.
Kim Ching Museum in Kim Ching Commune, Kim Sơn District in Ninh Bình Province is home to thousands of war artifacts collected by veteran Nguyễn Văn Tú and his comrades over the course of nearly 20 years.
Initially, the private museum only displayed simple artifacts such as bagpipes, rubber sanders, pieces of parachutes, and metal water bottles presented by Mr. Tu's former comrades. It has added many other artifacts every year, such as bombs, cannons, rockets, and even planes and ships, all are arranged into 3 sections, with sections 1 and 2 displaying weapons and war memorabilia, and section 3 showing the belongings of people in the north.
In order to find such a large number of artifacts, we had to go to places that were fierce battlefields during the wartime, such as Guangxi and Taining provinces. The museum will be expanded so that more people can visit.
Since its official opening, the museum has not only welcomed domestic delegations, but also foreign guests.
Looking at the wartime memorabilia, I felt deeply moved and remembered my comrades who didn't return home after the war ended. The memorabilia will help the younger generation better understand the country's history.
Listening to veteran stories gives me more vivid feelings about the war. I've been studying hard to become a useful member of society, so as to not let down the soldiers who made sacrifice and fought for the independence of the fatherland.
Mr. Tu and his associates continue to search for war memorabilia to enrich the display area at the museum.
A circus dedicated to heroes who sacrificed their lives for national independence has been held by the Vietnam Circus Federation to mark War Invalids and Martyrs Day, July 27th.
Stellar performances were delivered during the show, entitled A Peaceful Sky, which highlighted images of Vietnamese aviators bravely protecting the nation's skies. They were staged to a soundtrack of famous revolutionary songs, such as Uncle Is With Us on Our Marches and Song of the Sky Guardian.
Like many other young people at the Vietnam Circus Federation, I feel very proud and I am eager to take part in a meaningful show like this.
The sacrifice of Vietnamese pilots and war invalids have been brought closer to the public through this show.
The circus is expected to have young people gain a better insight into the sacrifice and immense hardship that members of the Vietnamese Air Force encountered in safeguarding the nation. As part of the program, various gifts were presented to war veterans, the families of war martyrs, and people who rendered service to the nation.
Ticket revenue was used to buy gifts for families who rendered service to the nation. We hope that this program will become more popular among the public, especially young people, helping them understand more about the country's history.
A Peaceful Sky was organized following the success of another program held to mark War Invalids and Martyrs Day. The program has breathed new life into revolutionary art shows with themes such as memories of Trường Sơn and seas and islands at the homeland.
On the evening of July 26th, the delegation of Vietnamese athletes with disability arrived in Surakarta city in Indonesia, starting their journey to conquer the 11th ASEAN Paragames.
The Vietnamese delegation comprises 153 members, including 18 coaches and 120 athletes, who will compete in 8 sports, namely athletics, swimming, powerlifting, badminton, table tennis, chess, judo, and archery. Arriving at Addis Ababa Airport, the athletes seem very excited and ready to compete and bring glory to the country.
I feel very excited and I'm looking forward to competitions. Returning to the regional sports arena after 5 years, I promise to do my best to achieve the best possible results.
According to the airport authorities, besides Vietnam, delegations from Myanmar, the Philippines, Malaysia, Thailand, Cambodia, Singapore, and Timor also arrived at the airport on the same day. Brunei and the host country, Indonesia, will come today.